2, 3.
It's called the 606 Trail. It opened almost 2 years ago and is just under 3 miles long. It runs through several neighborhoods on Chicago's northwest side and is a place for running, biking, walking, and other activities. A study by DePaul's Institute for Housing Studies identifies areas of the city that are vulnerable to displacement of residents due in part to projects like the 606 Trail and also a planned trail called El Paseo.
We created an analysis identifying areas that have high share of renters, high share of lower income households, cost burdened households, seniors. These are all areas those are all types of populations that would be vulnerable to displacements if housing costs went up really quickly.
The issue. Because the trails are popular with many, they make neighborhoods more appealing, and that can lead to higher housing prices. The study highlights the Pilsen and Little Village neighborhoods as vulnerable to displacement due to these rising home prices. It says this displacement could occur in Little Village when the El Paseo Trail is completed. The trail will connect Pilsen and Little Village and bring gardens, art spaces, and gathering spots for residents in what used to be a heavily industrial area, one with very few green spaces. Jaime DePaul, executive director of the Little Village Chamber of Commerce, says the area deserves something like the El Paseo Trail.
We need something like that, and it's about time our city elected officials are looking into Little Village and beautifying the area because it's very well needed.
DePaul says that displacement due to projects like the El Paseo is hard to predict, and that Little Village will ultimately benefit from the trail project.
The gentrification aspect is between Pilsen and Little Village is kind of very, very slow here in Little Village because we don't have the train stops that they do in Pilsen. So it might happen, it might not, who knows? But the trail is going to be a plus for our community.
In an attempt to predict potential housing increases along the trail here in Little Village, the Institute also looked at similar projects like the 606 Trail in Humboldt Park and its effect on home prices there. According to another study by the Institute for Housing Studies at DePaul, home prices around the 606 Trail on the west side have increased by 43% since the trail opened, leading to higher rent for some of its residents. Smith recognizes that the neighborhoods around the 606 Trail and Little Village are different, but thinks the effects of El Paseo might be similar.
But I do think that in the big picture, it will have an effect on housing demand, and it likely will have some effect on existing residents, so that we need to just be planning for that.
Moises Moreno and the Pilsen Alliance are working to make sure that El Paseo does not have the same effect on Little Village or Pilsen that the 606 Trail had on Humboldt Park.
Part of us wants to support it because it's just, industrial land that should be, preserved, but at the same time, it's going to be a driving force just like the 606, right? It's going to displace people.
His group is engaging with land developers and elected officials to introduce proposals that would protect residents from potential displacement.
We got to have those provisions. If we don't, then unfortunately, we don't think the community residents that are here now are going to enjoy that in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
The El Paseo Trail is in the early stages of development, with designs still being finalized. Community activists and developers will continue to discuss ways to change the neighborhood for the better, while at the same time hopefully keeping some of its longtime residents. For Good Day DePaul, I am Emmanuel Camarillo.